when you're talking about entrepreneurship in particular, entrepreneurship is a people's business. At the end of the day, we're talking about having a business model that works and you being able to market that business to people. As you realize, people are more attached to brands than what the product is. You first sell the brand, then give them the product. Now that means interacting with people, that means building a strong network of guys, people that understand what the brand is about, people that are willing to sell the brand for you.
Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome to yet another episode of the IHNDY series. Thank you for all those who have been supporting us since we began, and we are really grateful. If you haven't subscribed yet, remember to press on that subscribe button. Now, 13 years ago, I met a bunch of strangers, and among them, one stood out. 4 years we lived solidly together, and then we disappeared, got busy with life, and 13 years later, okay, actually 8 years later, we meet again. And it's so interesting how time flies, and how along the years you gain new perspectives of life, you gain new ideas and new stuff to help you progress and develop in life. Now with me here is some old friend of mine who is still a new friend, a current friend of mine, and we're here to talk about something that will be instrumental to us as young adults, and I hope it helps you to grow and learn. So without further ado, allow me to welcome the main man himself, Mr. Michael Akonya. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
You mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, to the viewers.
I'm
Akonya. As most will call me, they'll go with Mike, whatever works in any case. So as I stated it, I'm an old friend, pretty old friend.
It's more than that.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how we move through life, go through events, and among the things we realize is the people we meet along the way, and the kind of impact they have on us along the way. And eventually everything we go through matters. At the end of the day, it matters. That's why we're here together this day. We didn't even know this will happen.
Sure. So in the 13 years, you mind summarizing what you've learned? What's the one thing that you believe in that majority of the population think otherwise?
The major thing about life, something you realize as you try figuring out your own stuff, at the end of the day is the impact you're creating. However, okay, we call it chasing the bag. Everyone does that. But when you're looking at self-fulfillment, at the end of the day, it is how much impact you've created. What makes you feel good about yourself? Is it how much you have or how much you've impacted on someone else? So that is, to me, that is the greatest thing of all. Being able to move through life, meet different people, interact with new people, and be able to leave a positive impact on everyone you meet. That is a blessing. I think that is the main purpose most of us have. You need to create as much impact as you can in whatever way you can, in whatever small way you can, in whatever capacity you have. Because really, what is life about if it's not pulling each other?
So speaking of impact and impacting the circles you're in, we previously had a conversation around social capital. For somebody who's hearing for the first time, what is it about?
Social capital, in the simplest of terms, we'll be talking about, for lack of I'm trying to not complicate issues. It is about the kind of network you have, the kind of connections you have, connections in terms of how diverse your network is, the number of people you know, and we're not talking about knowing people for the sake of it. We're talking about people you've been able to impact on, people that have been able to impact on you, people that can talk about you in confidence, about your abilities and everything. These are the people that really define you. So as you go along in life, you realize you meet a number of people, and when you talk about two types of people say about being an extrovert, people talk about being an introvert. Some guys are naturally more into themselves, they're not outgoing, we call them the introverts. And other guys, they make friends easily, they make their presence known more easily, the extroverts. You realize in the long run, the more extroverted you are, well, not necessarily, it may not necessarily be entirely true, but those people always have a higher chance in life. Not because they are better than you, it's because they are able to express themselves more than you. That at the end of the day means they are able to get the attention of more people, and when opportunities come along, someone will mention someone they know. I was reading an interesting discussion some time back. Someone was saying, when you come to the job market, most of us out here, we're still figuring out what to do, where to work, especially for the guys coming out of school. This statistic read that 80% of open positions, these positions are filled by word of mouth.
Oh, okay. 80%.
80% of open positions are filled by word of mouth, and even better, 70% of those positions never even get to be advertised. Word of mouth means I've interacted with Sami, I've been able to express myself to Sami, he knows what I'm capable of. Sami goes meet someone else, that someone else knows about something else, asks Sami whether he knows someone, and I'm referred. That's how the world works essentially.
For someone who's realizing this, someone who is using this as an eye opener, where do they start from?
Start with where you are. Start with where you are, in whatever capacity you have. Talk to that person, be more approachable. You need to be more approachable. Make sure in whatever small capacity you have, in whatever capacity you have, in whatever small interaction you have, make sure when you're living there, someone has a memory of you, someone knows what you can do. That is how we build connections. On the professional circles, there are normally a number of networking events. These things are specifically arranged for people to create communities around these things. If you're able to join one of those communities, if you know enough people in your circle doing the same thing as you, then it is way easier for you to traverse within that community. You need to find a way to interact more with guys. You need to find a way to leave a positive impact on someone, so that when the time is right, that person will remember, I met this guy. That is where it starts. It's about the kind of image you leave behind, and the more positive the image, the better for you.
Now, what of the unfortunate introverts? What's there for them?
Now let's start with this way. I don't think I consider myself an extrovert. I don't consider myself outgoing as much. I am more reserved. But something I realized along the way, one of the tools I entirely depend on is not always going to work on me. So you realize along the way, it is more about the people around you than it is about you, about what you know. Because at the end of the day, when you talk about workplaces, workplaces are built by communities, not a single individual. How do you relate to the people in that environment? What kind of impact are you? What kind of role are you playing within that community to push the community forward? So something I realize as an introvert, you need to find yourself a circle. You need to find yourself 1, 2, 3 friends that really know you, that you can really trust. People you can talk to. These same people are the people that will help market you in their own way. It's all about, I know about someone, I meet someone else, whether I know this guy, he does this and that. You don't have to be, it's not really sad when you look at it. It's not really that hard. You just need to find a way to open up more. They said for introverts are recharged by the quietness in a quiet environment. While the extroverts, the energy comes from being in a public space, being hitting up with people. So for introverts, I can relate. Getting into that environment, the networking circle where everyone is doing everything, you get drained. You get drained by that energy. But we call it the necessary evil.
Just has to be done.
It just has to be done.
Okay.
You need to find a way to connect with people.
So thank you for that. What's the role of social intelligence and emotional intelligence in this social capital saga?
Social intelligence, emotional intelligence. When you're talking about emotional intelligence, we're talking about first is understanding yourself, understanding your limitations, and even better, understanding your capabilities. This is how much I can go. This is where I struggle. Once you figure that out, then it will be way easier for you to figure out how to open up to someone else, how much you can let them in, and how much you can relate with someone else. That's emotional intelligence. It goes hand in hand with social intelligence. Social intelligence, we're talking about social intelligence. We're talking about now building the social network, knowing how to come into a group of new guys, and at the end of that conversation, you're able to relate to all of them. So these are really key tools when you're trying to develop, especially as a young guy, especially for students if you are one, trying to come out of your shell, trying to make a mark. That is something you really have to figure out. It's not enough that you know the technical capabilities, especially for the technical roles, you being an engineer. It's not enough. It is even more important than you're able to relate to people. You're always going to have new guys coming to do what you're doing. Are you able to train a new person to act in the capacity you're in at the moment? Are you able to team up with someone else and push a new project to completion? These are the key areas in life in general.
Let me take you a little bit back. When it comes to developing the social network, the social capital, how does that differ from all these corruption-based metrics? Speaking of nepotism, speaking of tribalism, speaking of racism. I mean, you are my friend. I know you. A chance is here, an opportunity is here, and I'm like, okay, Mike is capacitated to do this. So let me offer them this. How does it differ from corruption? Because corruption is big in Kenya and in Africa. So what's the difference?
Now, we talk about equality. We talk about with the same example you've used. An open position is there. The position is available. How is it different from corruption? Because only you have access to that opportunity. Now, someone will tell you most of these roles are filled by capacity. Are you able to? Someone will ask, are you able to fill that position? And then again, were you chosen over someone else? It's all about, I'll get you to the interview room, Samuel. I will not get to the position. It is you to fight for your position.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, I've seen an opportunity and I've pointed you to the right direction. Now, that pointing to the right direction is where most people lack at. Nepotism, tribalism, these are direct forms of corruption, trying to push your relations into positions of power, that is totally different. Here we're talking about
competence,
having people around your circle that will be able to point you in a position in the direction they feel will suit you. It is, at the end of the day, it is always you to fight for that position. It is you to justify why you belong to that part in that position.
So if I hear you right, it's about, first of all, you getting you understanding who you are, what you can offer, and then sell that to people in very casual ways and wait for the opportunity to arise, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Unemployment is a big thing right now here in Nairobi, in Kenya, in I believe also Africa. I did another conversation with some people some time back, and they're talking about unemployment. So, what of those who don't want actually to take the route of employment, don't take the route of entrepreneurship, don't take the route of building brands and stuff? Is it still relevant for them?
Even more relevant.
How
It's
so?
even more relevant than the guys going for employment.
Okay.
When you're talking about entrepreneurship in particular, entrepreneurship is a people's business. At the end of the day, we're talking about having a business model that works and you being able to market that business to people. People, as you realize, people are more attached to brands than what the product is. You first sell the brand, then give them the product. Now that means interacting with people, that means building a strong network of guys, people that understand what the brand is about, people that are willing to sell the brand for you, to sell your brand. When you're venturing into entrepreneurship, probably you're trying to create an impact around you, you're trying to fill a gap in the market that you feel needs to be filled. At the end of the day, you need to find a way to reach out to people. You need to make a justification of why your business matters. I think we are in an age where there are a number of startups, especially agro-based startups, fintechs. We are talking about technology startups. Now, the way the startups operate is you need to get funding. That means you need to pitch your idea. You need to make the business case why what you're doing matters, why it is important for the community you're in, especially when it is a community-based program. If it's entirely business-based, you're trying to explain the business value of it. So you still need to get out of your shell. You'll need to find a way to express that to people.
I want to bring that into religion and spirituality. Is it still relevant?
See, we are always dealing with people. At the end of the day, I don't know, for lack of a better word, what is the core business? That is what we are always asking. When you talk about spirituality, what is the business in spirituality? The business is we're trying to reach out to guys, we're trying to leave an impact to those guys. How do you do that? You need to be there physically, you need to be there in whatever medium you are. It still involves you going out there to people. Something I never really appreciate is having someone trying to talk you through your problems when they do not seem to be able to relate to what you're going through. See, it's way different when the person you're talking to, you feel the connection, you feel this person actually understands what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, it's still an important part. You need, it's a need, it's not a want, this is a need. You need to be able to do these things. You need, you cannot escape. You need to be able to cultivate these things.
Any final word for the young adults watching this?
What I would say is, let us not be afraid to be who we are, but let us also appreciate the people around us. Let us find a way to connect to the environment we are in, because at the end of the day, the people, we are not serving ourselves. At the end of the day, the people around us is what helps define us.